Think about it. Aside, of course, from the crust, a basic cheesecake only contains some sugar, vanilla, eggs, and dairy. And it's a custard no matter how you cut it. In fact, the only real difference between a cheesecake and a cream pie is that most of the dairy in the cheesecake comes in the form of a soft, smooth, tangy cow's milk cheese containing no less than 33% milk fat and no more than 55% moisture, known far and wide as cream cheese. Now, I also like to use a little whipping cream and some sour cream to up the tanginess and to soften the batter. Softer batter, richer cake. And since the cheese is a little on the bricky side right now, I'm going to keep all this on the counter for a few minutes to warm up.
No stick peace of mind comes for the price of a single piece of parchment paper. A long one. How long? Well, long enough so that when it's unfurled, it completely covers the inside walls of the pan. Now, cut out one corner, making sure that it's wider in all directions than the pan is itself. Got it? Okay, now fold it over side to side, kind of like you're starting a paper airplane. And then fold it over end to end, kind of like a handkerchief. Then fold it corner to corner. No, this isn't origami, trust me. One more time so that you got kind of a cone. Hold the point of this cone over the center of the pan, measure to the edge, and then cut to fit. All right, now set that aside and get some melted butter. And just brush the inside of the pan. Make sure you get the corners and the walls all the way to the top. Open up your cone and, well, would you look at that? A perfect fit every time. Now take your knife, kind of measure the wall, and then kind of measure that out on the remaining parchment. You're going to cut a strip just as tall as the wall is. If it's a little bit taller, that's okay. If it's shorter, that's not so okay. And just make sure that you can press it right up against the walls. You're covered.
Unlike pastry crust, whose finicky temperament has been well documented through the ages, the pressed or crumb crusts under which cheesecakes are built are actually no-brainers. All you need is some old cake, some cookies, or maybe some crackers. In this case, the classic graham crackers. I'd say about 33 of them to be exact. The secret in prepping this crust is that you don't want to chop these up too fine. You want to crush them by hand. Sure, you could do it in a food processor, but it would be way too even. You want to end up with lots of big pieces integrated with a lot of little bitty crumbs. Perfect. Now this goes into one stick. That's half a cup of unsalted butter. And add to that 1 tablespoon of sugar. Now stir thoroughly just to get everything moistened. Now this we're going to add straight to the pan, but we're not going to add all of it. We're only going to add about 2/3 of it. There we go. Don't worry, we'll save the rest of that for later. Now, if this loose amalgam of crumbs is going to come together to form a cohesive crust, we're going to have to add a little bit of pressure. I think that an empty glass does a really good job, but I think that an empty glass with some weight does an even better job. So just start in the middle and tamp around. Now, this goes into a 300-degree oven for 10 minutes. Batter building begins by putting your paddle attachment on your mixer. The first thing that goes in is 1 1/4 cup of sour cream. And we're gonna mix that by itself for a few seconds on medium-high speed. Now, why in the world would you mix one ingredient by itself? Lubrication. By covering the inside of the bowl with sour cream and of course the paddle, we're going to make it so that the cream cheese that's coming is not going to be able to stick. It's not going to be able to get hold, and that's going to make the batter come together a lot quicker. There we go. Now, 20 ounces of cream cheese. That's about 2.5 packages. I said it was good. I didn't say it was fat-free. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and add a cup of sugar. Now, not only is the sugar an important agent of flavoring, but it's also going to work as kind of an abrasive and help this batter come together. You need to start at a very low speed, though, or the sugar is going to end up in the floor. As soon as the sugar is moist, you can go ahead and turn it up to medium. Now, it's going to look like kind of cottage cheese for a long time. Just let it go. It's going to break down and kind of look like a cream cheese icing. It'll be smooth, just like that. In the meantime, combine 1/3 of a cup of cream with a tablespoon of vanilla extract and 3 egg yolks and 2 whole eggs. Okay, now stop. do not add this to this without scraping down the side of this bowl first. Because the batter cannot come together if everything's stuck to the side of the bowl. And make sure you get all the way down in the bottom. And a rubber spatula is really the only way to do this. There. And also, wipe off the paddle. Now you can see there's still some chunks of the cream cheese in there, so this has got a little more work to go. Okay, back on medium. It's okay to go ahead and start adding the liquid, but do it very, very slowly. Once you've got half of the liquid in, stop and take a look at the batter. It should be coming together pretty nicely at this point. So go ahead and stop and scrape one more time. Now this may seem like a really small thing, but it is the big difference between just an iffy cheesecake and a cheesecake that's really light and fluffy. There. Now we're going to turn up the speed a little bit higher. Put off the side and add the last of the liquid. It's batter time. Go ahead and turn your oven down to 250 and get that crust out of there. Now this has to cool down thoroughly before the batter is introduced, okay? 10 minutes on the counter or you're gonna end up with a pool of fat down at the bottom. Not good eats. In the meantime, bring 2 quarts of water to a boil. Pour in your batter, making sure to scrape out every last bit of goodness. There. But before you go to the oven, give it a little twist just to make sure you get all the air bubbles out. And if any float up to the top that don't break on their own, give them a little bit of help. There. Now, since this is a true custard, we will be cooking it in a hot water bath. And of course, that's going to mean another pan. Now, you could just put it in a roasting pan, but if you've got one, it's always nice to go with the same shape, just bigger. This pan goes right in the middle of the oven. And I like to put a towel right down in the bottom. It's going to add some extra insulation. It's also going to prevent water from splashing up when we pour it in. Now, the cheesecake goes in the middle of that, but push it over to one side just for now. There. Now the water. You only need to add enough to come about 2/3 up the side of the cheesecake. You don't have to go any higher than that, or you'll just steam the cake. Now you can start to appreciate the one-piece pan approach. I mean, a spring form, well, they leak. That's just the way they are. And I don't know about you, but I'm not interested in making soup here. There we go. Usually takes about 2 quarts for me. Now we move this back right into the middle and push it right on in. Doesn't look done. Doesn't look done at all, does it? You know what? It isn't, but that's okay, because just like scrambled eggs, if a cheesecake looks done in the pan, it's going to be overdone on the plate. It's just like a roast. You have to take carryover into account. The temperature is going to continue to go up. So what I like to do is just leave it in the oven. Turn the oven off. Open the door for 1 minute to let the hot air out, and then just close the door and leave it for 1 more hour. An hour has gone by, and that looks nice. Now, obviously, when we get this out, you don't want to pick up this pan or you'll slosh water into this pan, which would be a bad idea. So this goes straight into the refrigerator for 6 hours. I said it was easy. I didn't say it was fast. Nothing left now but the slicing.